Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Victory Sunday. Super excited that you guys can join us. And as always, I always have a special guest that's going to be sharing their victorious story with us on today. And again, I'm excited. I'm glad you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here with us this evening. So thank you guys for tuning in with us this Sunday evening. So with that being said, the gentleman that I'm going to be bringing on you guys, he is a author, a real estate developer, and a financial expert, and he is shaking things up in the city of Dallas. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on because we're making connections here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Mr. Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Super excited that you said yes to Victory TV with Charlette. And I know your time is valuable, so we're going to go right into it. So just tell the people that's listening a little bit. I told them the three things that you got going on, but just share with them a little bit in your own words what you do here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
I'm real simple. I may slang a little dope on the side. I'm just messing.
That's that Leo coming out.
I might be going to a cousin, Power Book 4. It might be me. Who knows?
Just a joke inside, you guys. But go ahead.
Simply put, business-wise, I have a real estate development firm. So what that means is I buy land in areas, up-and-coming areas, areas that I see an affinity towards growth. I buy the land, before everyone else gets to it. And I develop at a later point, meaning that, I subplot these different lots that I buy. Maybe it's an acre lot and try to subplot it into three lots, right? So, you instead of building one house, I can build three and make triple the profit, right? So I buy this land, and I essentially build new construction, modern homes in DFW. Outside of that, how I kind of got into that, I was in financial services for some years, built my capital that way so that I could put myself in a position to buy land throughout Dallas. And when the time was right, man, I just hit the go trigger, and I got a couple of projects going right now. I got I got a $550,000 house that's going for sale out in Fair Park. I got like a $1.2 million house that's going for sale out in like Cedar Hill, Lake Ridge. So, that's me short put, man. Black man trying to figure it out, make it happen.
It's figuring it out. It seems like you got it figured out already. And I know you've been doing this for some time. You hear well, from me, I see all the hype on social media. A lot of people teaching what you do, but you've been doing this for a while, right? And you seem like a pretty young guy. So tell the people how old you are, if you don't mind, and just how the transition for you was for the financial expert into real estate developer.
Perfect. So I'm 30 years old. 30 years old, but I've been like into construction since I was 15, 14. So growing up in like Pompano Beach, Florida, real close to Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, down there, like a lot of my uncles and my granddad, they worked on the back of trucks, right? Whether it was a labor, everyone in my family did some type of construction, some type of manual hand labor. So that's how I got introduced to construction, to kind of understand like the nuts and bolts of what does it take to build a home, right? What does it take to prep a lot, to get stuff prepared so that you can build something from the ground up, right? So it's always kind of like been in my bloodline. So, but, going to college, I always told myself, like, instead of being a worker bee, I want to be an employer. So my mindset was always to take it a step further. So me going into like financial services was just, I just kind of had this mind, so this ideal that if I understood money, I can chart my own territory in life, right? And as you read, you read different types of books. You look at how the U.S., the foundation of the U.S. was built upon like real estate development, agriculture, like stuff that, like, just from my humble opinion, that creates true generational wealth, right? Long before the stock, long before all these new careers and new ways we have to make money now in this new digital age, these dudes getting out of the mud through land development, real estate, agriculture, natural resources, and like one of my brothers say, he say, God ain't making no more land, so get you some land. You own some land, you own the future. You get to decide, if it's going to be a grocery store in this corner. You get to decide what schools is going to go here. You get to decide, if it's going to be an apartment building here. So that's just like how I kind of transition into it. Learning finances one-on-one, understanding how to use OPM, other people's money, as opposed to using my own money for projects. Learning about stock trading. Um, just those things kind of gave me the mindset to raise the capital to attain the wealth to be able to get into real estate development, which is why there's not a lot of black people in it, because we don't have access to capital like other ethnicities, right? So us black and brown folk, we have to like pool together in most cases to raise funds. But I was just blessed and fortunate, by the grace of God, I was able to understand how finances one-on-one work. I was able to get my business lines of credit, you feel me? I was able to raise my own capital, and just joining everything together, it put me in a position to be able to buy a bunch of land. And now that I own this land, right, how the banks look at you as, they look at you as someone who has equity. So they want to partner with you to develop in these certain areas so that, of course, you're working with the city too. You benefit them. You bring in $500,000 houses, $300,000 houses, because they look at it from the perspective of how much can we tax each of these homes that this person is building, right? How's this person going to raise the property value up? How's this person going to do this and that? How does it align with, the city's master plan, et cetera, et cetera? So I know I kind of gave you a lot, but I'm just a teacher. That's just what's in me.
Yeah, no, I'm listening, and I hope our listeners are listening as well. Just the detail of how you can partner with the city, just by you being a person who's bringing value to the marketplace. I think that's awesome, and I'm no real estate tycoon or anything like that, so I'm listening, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people listening, because people are understanding now that real estate is. I heard one guy said it's guaranteed, meaning like you can't lose in the real estate arena. Meaning, like he said, his loss is something like, say, for instance, if the house could have went for $100,000 more, but he only got 70,000. That's his loss. It's still profit, but that's his loss in his mindset. So that made me start like, okay, let me look at real estate or whatever. And again, a lot of other people may be doing that too, because they hear our people hearing what, Kanye West says or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know. But a lot of people are talking about it now. But you're ahead of the game. So, with that being said, you also said partnering with the city. How has that been for you?
I mean, I think it presents its own challenges, but the main thing with the city is, they want to make money. Of course, they got their own philosophies and how they want you to make money, right? But, I think for me, it's been positive. Um, as long as you understand, whatever city you doing business with, it could be the city of whatever, right? Whatever the listeners are listening in from, wherever you live, you got to understand your local city. Understand city council, city government, understand their vision, their purpose, their mission, and see, if your ideas align, then you can make it shape. So that's the easiest way that I can kind of say how you can work with the city.
Okay. And I know being in the industry, being a young guy, being a young black guy in the industry that you're in, what are some of the challenges that you faced?
I think like I get a lot of like when I'm on like my job sites, they was like, "Oh, can I speak to the owner?" and then when I say, "Oh, I am the owner," they're like, "Oh, you kind of young, like you don't see a whole lot of cats that's like under. Well, you don't see a whole lot of black cats in general, regardless of age. But we do have a lot of black builders, like actual builders, but it's not like a lot of like there's few in between when it comes to like black developers. So that's probably like the hardest thing I get is like being looked down upon because of my age. When it comes down to business and they see like, okay, this little cat know what he talking about. Like he throwing these houses up. Like I see his flow. I gain the respect over time. But I mean, I think there's some racism, systemic racism, right? When you get it and everything, there's a lot of stuff you got to go through from that perspective. But I kind of look at it like this, like And it's been true for me all throughout my career. It's whatever God has for me, it's gonna be for me. I don't care about no systemic racism. I don't care about no haters. I don't care about this person not liking me. Like, one thing about Will Cyrus, I'm gonna get it out the mud. I'm gonna get it off the muscle. I see
Mm-hmm.
an obstacle, I see a roadblock, I sit back in my corner, and I call myself, I'm a ghost and not a Tommy, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna always sit down, I'm gonna map out, and be 3 steps ahead of whatever obstacles that will come. And when I do trip over, that's cool. I'm gonna go back to my drawing board and I'm gonna map out a different direction. So that's kind of like how I play things. You have obstacles on projects. Maybe it's certain people that don't like you, that you don't even know of. They may try to fail you on your permitting process. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm following God's plan for my life, and it's always worked out the way that it should have. Have not. But
No worries, no worries. Victory. So we share victory stories here. And so what is a victory that you have experienced in your life? I know you talked about growing up and fortunate to grow up around people that was in construction that led you to the path that you're on today. What other victory stories do you have or you want to share with someone that who is thinking about being a real estate developer or just thinking about how to leave a generational wealth for their family? What would you have to share with them?
um, I'm gonna come at this from a different angle, but I'm gonna segue into, like, um tidbits that I can give, being, wanting to be a real estate developer. So, like, I look at victory, man. I just look at the fact that, like, I'm here today. That I didn't go to prison. That I'm not in the system. I look at that as a victory because, I mean, coming from where I came from, Pompano, like, I wasn't raised with no silver spoon. I don't have no rich aunties. I don't have no rich uncles. No one left me anything as it pertains to generational wealth. My grandma's died, granddad's died, uncles died. I ain't getting no life insurance policies. I had to figure it out. So, of course, like, I wasn't always this clean cut type of cat. I was a little hood dude back in the day. I had the goals, I sold dope, smoked weed, all that. You feel me? But, I think the victory in this is like God always had his hand on me, no matter what wrong I was doing. When it was certain situations in which I should have went to jail, God always redirected me. So, I'm very grateful to just being in the position that I am, and that's my victory story. It is not being where I should have been. I so for me, that's my victory, man, because I know it could have easily went the wrong way. So,
Wow. Most definitely. So what would you be for your advice for your younger self, that hood, you said the hood dude, the person that's out there in the streets or whatever? What would be your advice to your younger self and someone who may be listening, hearing your story right now? What would you say to them right now?
man, my biggest thing, without like being like preachy or whatever, you feel me, is to really sit down and listen to the OGs, man. Like, when I look back over life, even if it was a crackhead, like, a lot of these crackheads made a lot of sense. You know, I heard one crackhead say, I'm gonna give you about three, analogies that these crackheads. One thing about these crackheads, I don't know what type of drugs they be on, but they be saying some stuff. If you're not careful, you'll miss it.
Mm.
I had one, crackhead told me, he was like, "Time waits for no man." And when he said it at the time, it didn't really make sense to me. But the older and older I get, I start to realize how important, how valuable that piece of wisdom was. Because time waits for nobody. If you continue to dwell on your past, you continue to dwell on your traumas, continue to dwell on, well, my mama didn't love me, my daddy didn't love me, I didn't have this, I didn't have that, you're gonna miss the moment, right? And time waits for nobody. Time is fair to each and every individual that walks this earth. Doesn't matter if you're rich, doesn't matter if you're poor, it treats us all the same. We get the same 24 hours in a day. And time waits for nobody. So that's one thing I would say. And the other thing, another piece of wisdom that I heard was, you know, It's either you gonna sell or you gonna be sold.
Mhm.
And that's just the way of life.
Mhm.
You gonna sell or you gonna be sold. Which side of the table do you want to be on? So, I always tell my younger cats, figure out a hustle, figure out what your gifting is, what your talents is. It don't matter where you came from. God gave you some 6-figure business, 7-figure business, 8-figure. It don't really matter. You have that skill set in you. You just got to figure out, okay, based on my personality, based on my skill sets. Me, I wasn't like no super book smart cat. Like I wasn't gonna get no 4.0 GPA, right?
Mhm.
But I had good people skills. I had good management skills, leadership skills. I knew how to like get, inspire people, get people together in order to fulfill what it is that I'm trying to do, right? That's real estate development. You know, like I don't know how to tap these nails that these boys be tapping home. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to go get the money. I know how to go find the laborers, the people that I need. I know how to inspire them, get them together. Here's the blueprint. Here's the vision. Here's what I want to look like. We have our meetings. I lead. I direct. They execute. I make a whole bunch of money.
Mhm.
I was never book smart, so I say that to these cats. Regardless of whether you in the streets, regardless of whatever your story is, find out what you're truly good at. Everybody not gonna be a corporate executive. Everybody's not going to the NFL. Everybody's not going to be an actor, actress. Everyone's not going to be a real estate tycoon or whatever the case may be that people glorify from a worldly perspective. But if you find out what you're good at, I can guarantee you're going to be financially stable. You may not be a billionaire, millionaire, trillionaire, none of that, but you're going to be working within your gift, and more importantly, I feel like God is going to provide because you work. You're putting the maximum output in what you're actually been gifted to do. That's just my perspective.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. That was some beneficial information. If you're tuning in, make sure you share this broadcast. I believe that was some definitely beneficial information that I could even use. Especially with our time. Time is one thing we do not get back. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that that is a victory within itself. Just listening to older people that who with wisdom, full of wisdom, and that's willing to share. So thank you for sharing here with us on Victory TV, where your story matters, and continue doing what you're doing. I really do appreciate all that you're doing. And what's next for you? Let us know what's next for you. Then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Um, I think next for me, like the reason why I started my company, Purpose Builder and Development, um, like I feel like it was sparked when I was like 9 years old, right? Walking home from elementary school, and I would always like take like the long way home so that I can dream and vision cast by looking at these tall like houses on the water, right? So as I'm walking home from school, I would look at these homes and I would say, one day I'm gonna build something like that. One day, I'm gonna own something like that, right? So fast forward, let's just say 20, not even 20, so 10 years, 10, 15 years later, I'm doing everything I said that I would do. So I say that to say this, like, my heart, and I feel like, what's next for me is building a student center, for at-risk youth. Like here locally, I want to do it back home in Florida, but I just want to be able to provide opportunities for, like kids, minorities to be able to, be partnering with like strong black men, strong Latino men, whatever the case may be, just to have strong like male role models in their life to kind of help them navigate through their current situations. So I'm working hard to, raise my funds, partner with the city to build this youth center. So that's next for me outside of real estate development. That's my 5-year plan. I'm working hard and diligent towards that. But that's kind of like on my vision board. That's on my heart. And I'm working hard towards that. So that's next for me.
Well, great, great, great. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from Will Cyrus. I appreciate for you coming on, sharing your story with us. Thank you so much, because you could be doing anything else, right? He's a busy man, you guys. So I really appreciate you. I really do. Next week, you guys will be on here with a lady out of Atlanta, Georgia. She's a children's author, and she'll be sharing her victory story with us as well, and how her dad has made the biggest impact in her life. So we'll be back here next Sunday, same time. I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.